Conservatism, as the name suggests, aims to preserve the traditional values present in Western culture. Typically, conservatives support the importance of the nuclear family, organized religion, the military, and property rights. Liberalism is commonly identified as the primary ideology in modern history. Usually, it argues that every individual has their own rights, that the government should be legitimized by its population, and that everyone should be treated fairly under the law. It also promotes the idea of free markets, elections with the participation of multiple political parties, a division of powers among the various branches of government, the separation of religion and government, and a set of fundamental values enshrined in the Constitution, including the rights to privacy, freedom of speech, freedom of the press, freedom of assembly, and freedom of religion. Moderatism prefers to maintain a position within the Overton window which is considered politically acceptable by the majority of the population. Often, those who adhere to this position are apolitical, indicating a limited interest in politics, although they have some knowledge of it. Capitalism represents an economic system based on the concept of private ownership of the means of production, which are operated to obtain profit. The main features of capitalism include private ownership, the free movement of goods, competition between businesses, the division of labor, and social cooperation. Socialism. There are various forms of socialism, making it an umbrella term for different ideologies. In its classical sense, socialism denotes the ownership of the means of production by workers, with strong support for workers' demands, democratic management, and workplace democracy. In the modern era, socialism promotes the democratic self-management of workers, higher taxation for the wealthy, and the nationalization of key sectors of the industry. One of its fundamental principles is social ownership. Syndicalism, derived from socialism, argues that the organization of the workforce, the creation of local and decentralized worker organizations called unions, and the advancement of workers' demands through strikes and direct actions are the most effective ways to achieve a socialist society. Once a post-capitalist society is reached, a Congress or commune of unions is established to represent the various unions or sectors of the economy for a central government. Corporatism promotes the organization of society into different areas of employment such as agriculture, the military, engineering, etc., where people are assigned based on their interests and skills. It is based on a system of interclass regulation where workers, employers, and the state negotiate with each other to manage the economy efficiently and theoretically satisfy all parties involved. It does not refer to a political system dominated by big business interests. This would be a corporatocracy. Libertarianism promotes freedom as a central value and seeks to maximize autonomy and political freedom. It favors extremely limited government and shares the fundamental principles of liberalism. Imperialism argued that a country should expand its power or influence through the use of military force. When it became widespread, it was once considered an ideology similar to moderatism, but over the years it has lost popularity. Imperialism is known for promoting war and for the idea that more powerful nations should dominate weaker ones. It usually seeks to justify these actions by insisting that colonized populations benefit from the assistance of wealthier nations which provide them with otherwise inaccessible resources. Egalitarianism is a philosophical view based on the idea of ensuring social equality as a priority for everyone. Consequently, equal rights and treatment under the law should be guaranteed for all citizens of a state. Transhumanism advocates the idea that every individual should enhance themselves through the use of technology to overcome the simplest and most complex challenges of humanity. The ultimate goal is for everyone to achieve immortality and have an extremely advanced mind and body. Communitarianism. Communitarianism is an ideological view that emphasizes the well-being and importance of the community as the primary social unit. It usually emphasizes that the left-right political paradigm limits politics, and it supports the idea that policies from both ends of the spectrum are complementary and necessary for the benefit of the community. It believes that absolute individualism is harmful when it conflicts with the common good. Fascism. Fascism argues that people are weak and divided but united under the same banner. Whether it be that of a state, a nation, an army, or the like, it is an authoritarian model of government characterized by centralized control that rejects the idea of a multi-party voting system. It includes a strong central power, usually embodied by a dictator, and thus rejects the concept of separation of powers. Fascism is also ultranationalist, arguing that a nation should not concern itself with the rights of other nations as long as it benefits itself. Typically, ultranationalism is accompanied by militarism, which promotes the idea of a sufficiently strong army to expand national interests and values. Fascism suppresses opposition through coercive methods. It believes in a natural social hierarchy and promotes the sacrifice of individual interests for the presumed good of the nation or race. Nazism. Nazism is a variant of fascism with an emphasis on its racist ideology, which proclaims the superiority of the Aryan race. It argues that Aryans should govern the rest of the world to improve it, so it is strongly ultranationalist. To be recognized as Aryans by the Nazis, one must be of white race, heterosexual orientation, mentally and physically healthy, not cowardly, and not of Jewish descent. Those considered non-Aryans are labeled as Untermensch, a term that means subhuman. Nazism also promotes eugenics, a set of beliefs and practices aimed at improving the genetic quality of a human population. For this reason, people with inherited disabilities are considered worthless individuals and have been killed or sent to concentration camps as they were considered unworthy of life. Nazism also harbors hatred towards homosexuals, considering them also Untermensch.